Previously on Taverns and Caverns Path Bay. After handling some unfinished business with my benefactor, we head out and search for Borgar. Hopefully this guide has enough information to put a stop to Bertio's plans. After searching around town, we finally found him at this place called the Spike Club. We'll have to add that it's a much better place than that other disgusting establishment. I will not mention his name. Oops, sorry about that. It was getting a little carried away. But we did have a conversation with Borgar. He's a bit more shady than I realized. He took us to some dark alleyway to maybe do some jobs for him, but we stuck with the stone giants. So hopefully you can find that one from earlier that we saved, cause I got a plan. Episode 28. Finding Mogrim, Path Bay.
Welcome back to another exciting episode of Taverns and Caverns Path B, everyone. This is your Dungeon Master, Haphazard DM. And last time on Taverns and Caverns Path B, Nomu, Yalar, and Relanoa had searched all over Manavik trying to find the security guard known as Borgar, which they know was working with Bertio to try and find more poachers for a giant. Luckily, they were able to ask some citizens of Manavik on where Borgar might be located, and they found out that he likes to go back and forth between two particular bars or taverns known as the Fiery Horn and the Spiked Club. The party ended up finding Borgar at the Spiked Club, and Relanoa started playing music in the tavern to not come off as snooping on him. She didn't want to show that they were trying to gain information from him, but Yalar and Nomu were able to talk to Borgar and convince him that they were searching for jobs to do in order to make some gold. So, without being too suspicious, Relanoa stayed back a little bit while Yalar and Nomu followed Borgar down an alleyway to a shack that seemed a bit shady to both of them. And after speaking with Borgar, they came across a job that he offered for them to find a giant. And they agreed to take the job. Basically, there's two steps to the job. One is to locate a giant and report its location back to Borgar. And once they report the location and Borgar is able to confirm the giant is there, he would pay Yalar and Nomu 20 gold each. And after Borgar and the poachers that he hires are able to take the giant in, and once it's been given to Bertio, who is the one wanting the giant, Nomu and Yalar would then be paid by Borgar 100 gold each. So, after agreeing to this job, Yalar and Nomu stepped away, not wanting to be too suspicious or be founded by Borgar that they were actually against him. They found Relanoa and explained to her what the job was and what their plan was going to be next. So we'll be picking up right where we left off with you guys stepping outside of that alleyway, back at the Spiked Club, or at least outside of the Spiked Club. And I'll leave it off to the both of you to discuss what the party does next. So after you explain the job to Relanoa, Yalar and Nomu seem to be thinking the same thing. What is it that you both are thinking?
We basically get the giant to, we get the giant on our side to draw out Bertio. Was that it?
Yeah. Basically, yeah, convince him to help us.
Yep. Without getting stomped in.
Yeah, I remember the plan was you guys find a giant and convince the giant to help you slay the poachers. And then I mentioned, well, you better hope it's the giant you found before, because if it's not, you might get stomped. And you were like, oh, that's true.
That's very true.
Because not all giants are nice.
Yeah.
And they may not believe you.
Oh, no, they probably won't.
So, with the three of you standing there outside of the Spiked Club, Relanoa is looking around. She's rubbing her chin as her arms are folded over her chest. Um, so the plan is to try and find the giant we helped before and convince him to help us capture the poachers?
That's the best case scenario. Yes.
Well, I don't know how far that stone giant may have gone since we've seen him. It's been a day or two, hasn't it? Um, are either one of you good at tracking? I mean, I guess we can look for footprints and stuff. He is a giant, but still, what if we come across another giant instead? Do we ask that one then?
No kind of chuckles.
We can try.
Okay, Yalar, you mentioned you learned how to speak to giants. Is that true?
Yeah.
Uh, How did you learn to speak to giants so quickly, if you don't mind me asking?
Oh, just a little gift from my benefactor.
Oh, I see. I see. Spell based.
Yes.
Hmm. Does that spell allow you to actually speak to them, or does it only allow you to like understand them?
Yeah, the spell works both ways.
Oh, that's interesting. I don't have a spell like that. Oh, Supreme Goddess, maybe in the future you'd give me one, please, 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 please. So, so when do we go?
We can go now if you want.
Absolutely.
Uh,
Get it done.
okay, so let me think. The last time we saw the stone giant, it was on the outskirts of town, back north, because we were heading south at the time. So I guess we travel north and cross our fingers?
I'll try to do some tracking.
All right, well, okay, no, well, you could do the tracking then. You are known as the Monster Slayer or whatever, right?
Aye, yes.
So you know how to track animals. You did help track that wyvern, anyways.
He
Well,
nods his head, see his double chin.
double chin.
He's doing enough.
He's got double fur.
Yep, double fur.
You know those little you guys see those fat gray cats?
Yep, he's got that.
That's hilarious. His eyes were all wide, shiny. She goes, all right, all right. Well, do we have the supplies we need? We might be out there for a while looking for a giant. I mean, yeah, they're common in Strider Valley, but I don't know if it's common to find one, every 20 minutes we walk. So we might have to go off path. I don't think we'll find it on the main path after what happened last time with it.
No, of course not. But I'm pretty sure I can track him.
Okay. Well, if we are ready to go, then Gnome, do you want to lead the way?
Absolutely. He starts marching.
All right. So, are you guys going to be taking your horses? Because remember, you have horses at the stable.
Mm.
Or are you going to leave those behind? Because remember, that's prime target for a giant if it's a mean giant. Just throw that out there.
Yeah, just gonna go ahead and leave the horse in the stable.
Yeah.
Okay.
You drive a hard bargain there.
Well, I'm not trying to tell you not to bring them. I'm just you got to think of some of the. I immediately think of Attack on Titan, where that scene where the giant
Oh God.
throws.
Yep.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yes. Throws the horse.
Yeah. And I don't want that to happen to your horses.
Yeah, me neither. Pay good money for him.
Not to say I would do that.
Yeah, he would.
What? What do you mean I would? I'm not that kind of DM.
Yeah, good money was paid for those horses.
Yep.
Oh, Rollo got hers. Well, she didn't get hers for free. You guys had to slay a wyvern to get hers. Growlnox, the apex wyvern.
Yep. Still got some meat of his cooked.
Yeah, you do. And I remember when Yalar tried it, he was like, "Oh,
Yep.
Had him question his life.
you did. You had him questioning it hard." So, with Nomu leading the way, you guys find yourselves making your way out of town towards the gate, and you're heading northwards on the main path. No one really stops you or looks your way as you guys are leaving. Noah makes sure she has everything she needs. And again, you guys have pretty much fully rested at this point, so you're max on HP and all that nice stuff. But as you guys make your way outside of town, you leave the main gate, you're back on the main road. and this is the exact same path you took to get to Manavik. You're basically backtracking at this point. But as you are now on the main path, do you decide to go off path or do you follow the main road north?
What do you think? Should we head off the main path?
Hmm. Well, we did come across the giant and his child kind of on the main path with the poachers. I think if I was the giant, I think after a situation like that, I would probably avoid the main path. But that's just me. But I do remember the giant walking off in that direction, and she points northeast.
In the northeast we shall go.
All right. Well, don't know how long this little giant hunt's going to take us, but lead the way, Nomu, and I will play some music.
I- yes.
She takes out her lute and just starts playing the strings on it as she's following behind both of you. She's just walking. She seems to be in a good mood. She's just like playing her music. She doesn't care if you guys actually want to hear it or not. She's just playing it.
Yep.
I mean, you don't have to worry because she is an amazing musician. So her music's always going to sound good, but she doesn't care if you want it or not. She's still playing it. Just be glad she's not bad at
Yes.
Fair enough.
it. So she's playing some Final Fantasy over the world type shit, overworld music type shit as you guys are searching for this giant. But as you guys search for the giant, you know what that means, right? Some skill checks are going to be needed.
Yep. All right, I'll roll survival. If
Or
that's what you want.
it's if you that's what you want to roll, I would roll survival. That makes the most sense in the
There you
scenario
go.
like this. Wow, that's really good survival. So you head northeast off a path a bit, and eventually you come across the area that you did battle with Perlin and his men against the stone giant. And, this area looks very familiar to you. But as you go off towards the direction that the stone giant was heading, with a 19 survival, we'll say you've walked a good while now, you begin to look for any signs of footprints or movement. Again, Manavik, or sorry, not Manavik, Strider Valley, it's just a gigantic valley where you have mountain terrain on the west, mountain terrain in the east, and then you just have this massive valley that stretches for miles and miles before you reach the forest part of Ossia, the forest, I should say, the Great Forest of Ossia to the south, and then to the north is Riverhall, where you both had originally met, encroaching on the borders of Londe. But as you're looking around for movement, you do find that the area that you're searching, a lot of it's flat ground here in the middle of Strider Valley. But you do come across, there's a lot of dirt, there's bushes and trees every now and then as you go. You do find many footprints from deer to potentially predatory animals, maybe lions and whatnot that might have came across here. But you do, with the 19, happen to find some giant tracks, but they look fairly old. I think they've been here for a couple of days now. Some of the dust from the dirt in the ground has blown over some of it, but you're able to find some tracks continuing northeast. But you don't see two pairs of tracks because if you remember, it was the stone giant and then his child, right?
Mm-hmm.
You only find one pair of tracks. Do you follow the tracks northeast, or do you decide to go a different direction?
Ooh. Well, if we go down here, there's a chance that we will not find the same stone giant.
Why do you say that, Nomu?
There's only one set of tracks.
Oh, are you for sure it's giant's tracks?
Yeah, sure.
Hmm. Well, I was thinking maybe the stone giant that we saw has magic. You think maybe he used another way of hiding his son's tracks. Or I mean, the most ideal, well, not ideal. The most realistic thing would be this is probably not the same giant, but we never know. It's the only tracks you found, right, regarding a giant.
So far, yes.
Mm. Well, maybe we follow it just in case, and then see if we do come across the other giant, because we're not finding the stone giant's tracks with his child's tracks. We didn't pass it, so this is the way he went.
He's looking at Yalar now.
Why are you looking at me?
You have nothing to say? We're having a discussion here.
I mean,
Speak up!
I mean, we can.
don't need to be pushy.
I mean, we can potentially follow this, but
I mean, I wouldn't risk it, but that's just me.
all right, let's go. Risk it.
I shouldn't have even said anything. This is why I don't speak up.
I don't see any other tax. Do you?
No, but you're the master tracker, so
I mean, who
Illegal-
knows? He could be
illegal
carrying.
what?
Could be carrying the child.
Could be.
I mean, if they're in agreement, he's just gonna continue keeping his nose on the ground like Scooby Doo and follow it.
Scooby Doo. So, with you guys following, because you're following, right? Just want to make sure I heard that right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Ronell continues to play her music. Maybe my music will attract the giants because how beautifully it's crafted. Or maybe it'll attract predators. I don't know. I'll still keep playing.
Yeah, I'm sure he will.
So when you follow these tracks, Nomu, about, you continue to find the same tracks for a good 30 minutes or so. And at that point, make me another survival check. Because as you guys are walking further away from the main path, you're now coming across more nature-like areas where this is most likely going to be parts of the area that most people probably don't traverse. So with an 18 survival for 30 minutes, you continue to follow those tracks, and you eventually come across a small forest. Nothing major, but the tracks lead into the forest. And with your 18, you're looking around. You can tell that you can see both ends of the forest to your left and right. They don't encompass the area too much. You know it's going to be a small area of trees, but the tracks do disappear into the forest. And it's still only a single pair of giant footprints. Do you continue into this tree or this forest?
Yeah, no one's not sure anymore.
Relno looks at you. What's wrong, Nemu?
Ah, got a weird feeling. That's all.
She's looking around and she sees the same as you. Well, it looks like it's a small little forest area. It doesn't seem like it spans out too far. I can't imagine it being too big of an area. So I don't think we'll get lost in there. I think we can get out pretty easily based off what I'm seeing from out here. I mean, Strider Valley isn't known for forest. It's more known for just open land, really, and at least in the middle of the mountains. So I don't see us getting lost if that's what you're worried about.
No. Well,
He shakes his head.
well, if we run into trouble, we'll just have Yalar bribe him.
Bribe him with what? What do giants like, actually? Do you know, Elar? Supreme Goddess, what do giants like?
Wait. How did I get pushed into bribing somebody?
You can speak it.
Yes, Elar. I mean, considering you're the only one out of the three of us that can speak giant, a lot of this is going to be dependent on you and how well you can convince the giants to help us.
Hence the bribery.
Because
Well,
I can probably start saying something very kindly, like, "Hello, good day, Sir Giant or Miss Giant. I'm Relanoa." But to the giant, I might be looking like, "I'm gonna kill you."
well, there is an issue with doing this. I have to touch him first.
What? You have to touch him. Why?
Oh.
I don't know. It's just that's how the spell works.
You should have told us that in the beginning, Yalar.
I'm sorry. Just this is new to me, so
I-
um.
So how are we gonna convince the giant to let you touch it? If you touch it, it's gonna get pissed off most likely.
Well, I have something here. Maybe I'll hold it out to him. It's part of the spell.
You have to
And
hold out to him? Like what? You gotta include us in this so we know what you're doing in case things go wrong.
Here, I'm going to link the spell to show you the components,
Okay,
the material
spell
components.
is a divination spell called Tongues. The spell grants the creature you touch the ability to understand any spoken language it hears. Moreover, when the target speaks, any creature that knows at least one language and can hear the target understands what it says. Oh, okay. So this is doesn't work like I thought it did. Basically, you're granting the giant the ability to understand any spoken language it hears. Moreover, when the target speaks, any creature that knows at least one language and can hear the target understands what it says. So, if you touch, based off that description, and if I'm understanding it correctly, if you touch the giant, you're giving the giant the ability to understand us. And when the giant speaks, we, as a party, can understand the giant. That's how I'm reading that. Is that
That's
how?
what I'm gathering.
Okay, I just want to make sure that's how you guys are seeing that spell too.
Yeah, that's like I thought it was the other way first, and I reread it, and then that's why I posted it.
Okay,
So
so if we're all in
So-
agreement, that's what the spell's description says, then I will say that's what the spell does.
All right.
Now, there might be another DM or listeners might be listening to this, like, that's not how the spell works. Well, you know what? This is what we're going with.
This is how it works now.
This is how it works now. Haphazard DM said it. That's why my title is Haphazard.
Yep.
So, all right. You explain that to him, and she nods. Oh, I see. Okay, so you have to. Okay, so as long as we can convince. Well, if you just run up to the giant, touch him real quick, he'll immediately understand it. Us. So maybe we can explain why you even touched him in the first place, and then start talking. But you are invading a giant's personal space. I wouldn't want
You gotta be really quick.
like really quick, and you can't even use the excuse like, "Oh, excuse me, I didn't see you." Get what I did?
Yeah,
there?
that's not gonna work.
I think I got a plan. I think I.
Okay, so with that being in mind, we now know how the spell works. That's good that you told us that, because we probably been wondering why are you touching the giant. But we still have to think here and discuss. Do we want to still go into this forest? I can kind of see why Gnome was a little freaked out then. It could be a trap, maybe. Giants, I mean, depending on the giant, not all giants are nice, and some giants hunt people. They could be a trap.
Yes, that's why I'm kind of worried.
Let me think. Yalar, what do you think we should do? And while you're thinking, I'm gonna try and think of a spell maybe that might help us. Maybe.
I say we're in it this deep, so might as well keep on.
Onward,
Okay. You two first.
as you wish.
Maybe we don't enter with our weapons drawn. We might come off as threatening if we do that.
Oh, he has his sword sheathed.
I wasn't gonna plan on using my weapon anyway.
Okay.
Same.
All right. We'll lead the way. We'll continue to the forest.
All right, Noble gets on all fours.
All fours.
Yep. And he starts sniffing the ground and tracking.
Damn. He said, "Ah, rah, rah." No, I'm just. No, the last time you said all fours, it just makes me remember. I think it was like episode 11 or 12, or I don't remember, but it was the what was it? The Butcher of Shady Lane.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm carrying that child on my shoulders.
You're rushing for to find the child's bullies.
Yep.
Just picturing a, rabid Nomu charging through the streets with a kid on his back. So as you enter the forest, the giant's footprints, they become harder to find just because now you have much more on the ground to deal with: leaves, branches, and even grassy patches throughout the forest that weren't as common on the path before the forest. But you do follow the tracks a bit further into the forest, but they begin to become harder to find. You go into the forest for another 20 minutes or so, and as you guys are in this forest, make me some perception checks.
All right.
Because I'm not going to use your passive perceptions just because you guys are on the, I don't want to say the hunt, but you are well aware of your surroundings. You're paying attention for what might come out. So, Nomu with a 16, and Yalar with a 15. I'll roll one for Relanoa too, just because I don't want her to feel left out. She rolled an 11. So, Nomu with the highest of a 16. As you guys are walking and tracking the giant's footprints, or at least you would assume it's a giant, the forest is fairly serene and quiet. It's still middle of the day. You do hear some birds chirping around you and the occasional wind blowing through. You being in the middle of the Strider Valley, any of the wind that blows through the valley, it is strong and powerful, and Strider Valley can get fairly cold due to the wind chill with how powerful the winds are because of the valley structure. But you don't hear anything threatening with your perception checks, but you do find that the tracks seem to vanish the further in you go, and you can't really follow them as well as you did. And it eventually comes to a point where you just don't see them anymore. Would you like to roll another survival check to see what direction this giant may have gone?
No one's gonna look up first.
You look up, there's a giant falling down with a club.
Yeah, that's my idea.
All right. Well, we'll keep the same perception then. As you look up, you're looking and glancing around at the branches above you, making sure there's no giant or traps or anything of the sort. And you don't spot any giants up above. You don't have to worry about someone barreling down on you. At least with a 16, you don't spot anything.
Oh, I don't see no one jumping down on me like Ricky Maru.
No,
Trying to
no,
hop on my
no,
shoulders.
but you do see something that seems to be a little bit translucent, kind of flickering, because the predator's up there.
Oh, yeah, of course.
No, I'm joking. I'm not gonna make you fight the predator. That'd be fucked up. The predator, not a predator, the predator.
The predator.
Yes. No, but no, you don't find any traps or giants, at least at a quick glance up above. You feel safe for the most part.
Okay. Oh boy, I was still looking up. My
No,
survival was terrible.
I mean, a 10 is a basic. That's not bad. It's not good. It's standard. So you look back, and with a 10, unfortunately, you just can't tell which direction the giant went. You're a bit confused on where the fuck did the giant go. Relano's looking at you. No, are you okay? Yeah, it looks like you're having a hard time.
Yeah, one second.
He's sniffing the air, looking on the ground. He looks kind of befuddled. He slits on the floor.
I need a second.
Okay.
I can't find anything.
Well, the forest does make it harder on the tracks, with the forest being here with the trees and such, mud and things does seem to, and the dirt are all around, and the grass seems to make the tracks hard to track, I guess. Yalar, is there anything you can do to help?
I think he's gonna do an investigation. Look on like the tree branch or the barks of the trees. See if anything's like
Smart. Okay.
disturbed.
Good thinking.
Things like
Make
that.
me an investigation. Oh,
15.
17. So as Yalar, you're looking around, Nomu's sitting down, trying to gather his thoughts, try and see where the giant may have went. You're looking around at the surrounding trees and branches and bushes to see, as you mentioned, if anything has been disturbed, if a giant has moved through. specific trees. There might be a possibility that its body may have knocked some branches or broken some branches, or he may have stepped on a bush of some kind. With a 17, you're looking around. Uh, Continuing northwards, you don't really find much disturbance. Neither do you find it southwest or west, but east in from your current direction, you do notice something. There's a small bush that looks like it's been trampled. And past that small bush, there is a tree which seems like some of the branches up above have been snapped because you can see some of those branches on the ground.
Hey, Numu, sometimes you don't need to just rely on your nose. You have eyes too.
I
But,
use them sometimes.
Damn! Call his ass out. What the hell?
but I think they head east.
He turns.
Oh, yes, yes, yeah, east. Yeah, let's go there.
It's okay, buddy. We all have our down moments.
Thank you, Lar. Thank you, Lar. Uh, Onward.
All right. So you follow eastwards, and as you continue, there doesn't seem to be much that is threatening. It's still a very peaceful trek. But when you do follow that path, make me another survival, Nomu, because now you're back on track. At least you think you're back on track. 13. You do spot some more footprints now beginning to show up again. It seems that it might have rained in the area not too long ago, and you come across some muddy footprints that are somewhat old, but they're not fresh. They're probably a day old, considering if that's fresh to you, it could be fresh. But you do come across some more tracks, but still one pair of tracks. It's not two giants, still one. It heads eastwards that leads into what looks like a cave.
Mm.
He said, mm.
Hey, Renador, you still playing that music?
Yeah, I can stop.
No, no, no. What do giants like to hear?
That is an absolutely amazing question, Nomu, because I don't know, but I should know this. And that's why I'm happy that we'll be able to talk to the giant, because I love pleasing all the ears with my music, whether it's a normal person, a giant, a lizard man, or even a monster. But I would assume they like, I don't know, something calming, or maybe
How
they like
close are we?
or maybe they like something raging. All right. So you were asking Rob how far you are from the cave? Is that?
Yeah. Yep.
So you look at the cave in front of you. It's only about 20 feet ahead of you. Not too far,
Mm-hmm.
but not extremely close, but close enough for a giant.
Well, I have my plan.
I have an idea.
Go on.
Well, you guys stay put. I'm gonna go in there and see if I can find the giant.
You sure about that, Nomu?
No, no.
Oh, I'm sorry, Yalar? You sure about the Yalar?
I have a plan.
Planning eating?
Just no. You guys just stay put. Trust the process.
Okay. I will trust the process.
Yalar, are you really sure about this?
Yes,
Should I keep
I'm
playing my
positive.
should I keep playing my music out here or should I stop?
No. You can stop for a moment.
She stops playing her lute and puts it away. Okay. What's your plan in case things go wrong?
If you hear screaming, um, just wait.
If we hear screaming, we wait. We don't rush in.
No, no. If I come out, you rush to me. But
Uh,
if you hear screaming or anything like that, just stay put.
All right.
How long do we stay put? Because what if it grabs you and you can't escape, and it's gonna crush you?
I I think I'll be all right.
I want to see how this goes.
Okay. Well, I guess we'll
Just
wait here.
trust the science.
Trust the what?
The what? Science.
So Yular is going to walk slowly to the mouth of the cave.
Make me a stealth.
All right.
Rob sweating.
Mhm.
Oh God. 11.
All right. So as you are walking with an 11, I mean, that's slightly above average. You're not necessarily loud, but you're not all that quiet. You can still hear as you're walking, as you're stepping. You don't step on any branches, but some of the pebbles under your foot, because as you enter the mouth of the cave, it goes downwards. There's a slight slope. So as you step on some of the pebbles start rolling down that slope, and you can hear that. But it's not like you're yelling and tripping or anything like that.
Yeah. Okay. Um, he's going to cast darkness inside the cave.
Oh, how big of a radius is that?
Hold on, I'm about to post the spell. 60 feet.
All right. So here's the thing with darkness. So it's not that it's naturally dark. It's literally magic that's creating it to be dark. And if I remember
Mm-hmm.
correctly, even if you have dark vision, it doesn't work with the spell darkness because it's magically created. So magical darkness spreads from a point you choose within to fill a range of 15-foot radius sphere. The darkness spreads around corners. Creature with dark vision can't see through the darkness, and non-magical light can illuminate it. So even if you had a torch, you wouldn't be able to see through it. You'd have to have some form of magic.
Yep, he has a plan for that.
Eldritch Invocation, Devil's Sight. You can see normally in darkness, both magical and non-magical, to a distance of 120 feet.
Mhm.
Ah.
Yep.
All right.
He didn't tell the group this, but
So,
that's what he has.
all right. So, can we see you casting darkness, or do you do that like once you step into the cave?
Once he steps into the cave,
We
his
don't.
go heads down a little bit.
So we do not see it then.
No.
Okay. Yalar's playing some risky games here, Rob.
Hey, Relinor, you think he's gonna get eaten?
mm, well, if it's the same giant, probably not. If it's a different giant, there is a high possibility he will be eaten.
Well, I'm gonna set out some ground ox meat just in case.
Uh,
We'll greet the giant after he's done with his meal.
that might be a good plan, Nomu. So as you cast that spell, the cave itself isn't one that continues for very long. It's a fairly small cave, so if there's anything inside, it would eventually reach the creature, whatever exists in the cave, if there's anything in there at all. But as you step down the slope, you continue to look around, and as you're looking, you have 120 feet of vision with your Eldritch Invocation Devil's Sight. You don't necessarily spot any animals or creatures yet, but as you step towards the end of your darkness, because it only goes up to a 15-foot radius, past that darkness's radius, the cave stretches out probably a good 15 more feet. And what you do see is a huge figure sitting down on the ground. Its head is not looking in your general direction, but it seems to be slumped over while sitting, and you can hear it snoring. it looks like a giant to you, but you
Okay.
don't know if it's the same giant.
All
You
right.
can't
About
tell with its
how far
about
is he away?
15 feet. So the giant's not in the darkness right now. It's
Yeah.
past where your radius goes.
All right. So he's going to Misty Step just right behind the giant,
Mhm.
Oh no.
and he's going to grab his components for his spell, the ziggurat, and he's going to lightly touch the giant, and he's going to cast his spell, tongues.
All right. So you're misty stepping
Mm-hmm.
next to the giant, immediately touching it,
Mm-hmm.
and you're casting tongues.
Yes.
Is tongues a concentration spell? Or no? Let's see. Because if it is a concentration spell, you would lose the darkness. So let me check. It's not. All right. So the darkness stays. As you misty step next to the giant and touch it, where are you touching? Like on its foot, its arm, its hand?
His kind of like on his back.
Make me a stealth check.
All right.
Hmm.
As you misty step and you place your hand on the giant, it does not hear you. Your misty step is fairly quiet, and it doesn't feel your touch either. Because remember, this thing is a huge size category. You're a medium, so it's two size categories bigger than you. So it
Mm.
doesn't necessarily feel your hand because it is asleep. What do you do? You don't wake it, I should say.
Yeah. He is going to try to quietly head back up.
Make me another stealth.
All right.
16. You're able to make it back to your darkness and you move through it back up to the outside of the cave.
Yep. He's going to put away his darkness now.
Okay. Relno and Nomu see you stepping out, and Relno looks at you a bit confused. That was rather quick. So what happened?
He's going to ask the group, or ask Rilla Noah to start playing her music.
You want me to start playing? Like, what kind of music you think?
I need you to play something to kind of wake someone up gently.
Wake them up gently?
Yeah, like a song of morning.
So I don't want to. You don't want me to just play a bunch of random instruments and just wake them up?
Mhm.
No, 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 no. We got to do this with little style. Nothing too crazy.
Uh, okay. Let me
He's
see.
sleeping right now.
Hmm. How about a violin? I think that'd be smooth. She pulls out a violin and begins to
Hey,
start playing the violin.
hey Nomu, is that robin meat?
Absolutely. I thought you would get eaten. I'm glad you're not devoured. You are.
Thank you for the faith.
Absolutely. You got it.
We could use that too.
He can also start a fire and cook up the uncooked ground ox meat to waft it.
Oh, damn, that's true.
You
Ooh,
know,
I like that idea.
yeah, he's gonna do that.
Okay. Look at y'all waking this giant up to a cooked meal, some
Yep.
music. What is this? A hotel life?
He's gonna go ahead and start that fire and throw some ground ox meat on the spit.
All right. So as you begin to start the fire, put that meat on the spit. Rona was playing some music with a violin that she's pulled out of nowhere. And it's a very smooth tone. She doesn't want it to be overly loud, but also it needs to be soothing, but not too soothing to where it keeps the giant asleep.
Right.
So
Mm-hmm.
I'll have her roll a performance check. 18.
Ooh.
Oh,
Damn.
very well. Well done. She's able to play just the right tone that does wake the giant up, but not in a way to where it's disturbing him as if it was like just someone banging on some drums at 3 o'clock in the morning while someone was
You,
asleep.
you don't want him to wake up and choose violence.
You're right. You don't want to wake him up mad. You don't want him to be brawly and
No.
hearing Goku crying while he's trying to sleep.
No, we don't want that.
The Kakarot.
Yeah.
Yep.
So with her playing this music perfectly and Nomu cooking this Growlnox meat and attempting to waft it into the cave, the giant deep down does wake up. And as he opens his eyes, he looks up towards the exit. He can't see you guys just yet, but he does smell the meat. The giant begins to shift its body, confused on what is going on, but also grabbing its club as a weapon. Yeah, so with the giant grabbing its club, it makes its way up towards the exit of the cave, and it places, as you guys can see, one of its hands on the edge of the opening towards the cave as it grips the stony structure, stepping out into view. And when the giant steps out into view, you look up at it as it glares down at you, standing fully or standing to its full height. This huge creature glaring down with a club in its hand the size of a tree. And as it looks down at you, towering you, its shadow now stretching over you, it has darkened the area from the sun. The giant you look up at does look familiar. It's the same giant you helped, but it narrows its eyes looking down at you, and it leans forward slightly with its club still in its hand. What do you do?
Hello, sir. Sorry to wake you, but we made you some wyvern meat just as a sorry gift.
The giant looks a bit confused because it now understands you due to your spell. It is unaware that you even casted a spell on it. So when it hears you speak, you see a bit of confusion on its face before it attempts to answer you back in its own language. What what is this? Why can I understand you? Why are you here?
That that was also my doing. Another reason why I made this gentleman over here made you some wyvern meat. But we come asking for a slight favor.
Rono looks at Nomu. Nomu, I can understand him. That spell's so cool.
I agree.
The giant shifts its head at Nomu and Rillanoa, then back to Yalar. And it still keeps its club in its hand. Yes, you guys helped the giant, and the giant did give you a reward for helping him. So in his eyes, he's already paid off his debt by giving you some pretty rare ore.
Yep.
But he doesn't know if you are allies or a threat, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So he will slowly kneel down, hand still on his club. You come asking for favor. Why?
Well, you know how those poachers grabbed your child before?
Yes, and we killed poachers. You supposed to take leader back to town to be arrested.
Well, he was killed, but after we found out he was killed, we also learned that there are more people out here to poach some more. So the favor is that you help us stop these poachers for good.
Why do you want to stop poacher? What is it that is in it for you?
Well, I don't like seeing children getting hurt. You see, it happened. My village was attacked a long time ago when I was a child, and I just hate seeing that happen again.
Hmm. And what do I need to do to help you? What is it you ask from me?
Well, we're going to pretend that you're captured, and once we get the ringleader, we go ahead and attack it.
Blood, revenge. Oh, sorry.
Well, that too, and maybe a little bit of wrath.
So you want me to pretend I am captured, to bring poacher to me, and then you will attack poachers.
Yes, does that sound like a good plan to you?
Is this the actual ringleader of poachers? You say it ends poaching. Is this true?
If we can succeed in drawing him out, his name is Bertio. He's a cautious man, but he does want his giant, and he's desperate, and we can use desperate.
I do not like fighting. Are you expecting me to fight?
If you don't want to, you don't have to fight.
I prefer not to fight. Let me think about this. This is dangerous. Favor you ask of me.
Understandable. Maybe if you have other friends that might want to help, that would be
No,
all right too.
not in this area. Only my child and I.
Fair enough.
And I will not put my child in danger. Do you
I wouldn't want you.
understand this?
I wouldn't want you to anyway.
Yes, never.
And the giant slowly places the club on the ground, still kneeling there. It decides to shift its body to where it's sitting in front of you.
But have some wyvern meat. It's really good.
He wafts it in his face.
The giant smells it. Hmm. This does not smell like normal wyvern.
Oh, oh
Bigger
no.
wyvern.
This is real ground knocks.
Hmm. Do not know what Growlnox is. Perhaps Apex Wyvern?
Was Apex Wyvern.
He leans down and holds his hand out. Let me try.
Takes it off the spit, hands him the pole.
He goes to take a bite out of it, and as you are cooking this, make me a skill check to see how well
Oh,
this is cooked.
oh man.
You can do a survival.
Cool.
A 16. He goes and takes a bite. Now, again, this giant is massive compared to you guys. So, like, you're medium sized. Think of a ogre or a minotaur being a large size category. The
Mm-hmm.
giant is huge. That's one step above large. So he's
Oof.
even bigger than a minotaur and an ogre. So, as he's sitting there towering over you guys, he takes this bit of brown ox meat and puts it into his mouth. Now to him it's pretty small piece, but
Like a
he
chicken nugget.
but he begins to eat it, and as he's taking a bite, He looks to the side and his eyes widen. You know how like Shaq does when he eats the chicken? And Shaq's eyes widen and his lips pucker up. He goes, "Oh."
Yeah.
He does the Shaquille O'Neal face, the meme. He begins to lick his fingers. Mmm. Apex Wyvern, delicious. Let me have more.
You got it.
AV
He's
gets,
pretty much going to give him the rest of the ground knocks meat.
damn, you're gonna give him all of it?
Hey man, he's doing the risking, man.
All right. He begins to eat up your ground ox meat happily. Mmm. Delicious. Mmm. Mmm. I think about this favor. As I said, I do not like fighting unless I have to. If you can draw out poachers and leader, depending on situation, I will help, but I prefer not to fight. I can pretend to be captured, and if things go wrong, I will step in. But if this ends the poaching and potential opportunity of them to capture me or my child, I will help.
Now, the good thing about this is you should come to no harm. They do want you alive.
This is good to know.
All the risk will be on us.
I have conditions.
Let's hear it.
You will not lead them to my home. It will be in another area. I do not want to risk them finding this place.
Of course.
We wasn't thinking that anyway.
No.
And what happens if Poacher brings more than you can handle?
I could.
Well, go ahead, Nomu. I'm sorry.
I was gonna say we could prepare some traps just in case, but
You say the one after Giant is named Bertio.
yes.
Will Bertio come out himself, or will he send his lackeys?
Once his lackey has confirmed, then Bertio shows up.
He places a hand to his chin, thinking deeply. You know, this can be potentially dangerous for him, so he's got to really think this through.
And they don't know about Relinoa, so she could be with you the entire time. In secret. Sorry, Relinoa, I just threw you under there.
Wow, thanks for the heads up, Nomu.
No problem.
The giant's still thinking to itself, and then it looks down at you three. Very well. I only accept because these poachers will not stop until the boss has been stopped. And if they do not stop, it is only a matter of time till they find me again. So I will help this one time, but I will not do battle unless I have to.
Leave that to us.
How are you going to pretend I am captured? We cannot really put me in ropes, or I will not be able to help if I need to.
I mean, I could put you in the ropes, but the ropes would be loose.
Good.
Real loose.
And if you are unable to stop them and it is too much for me, I will have to run away.
Yes.
No worries.
I want you to be aware of this possibility.
You do what's best for you and your child.
And how do I know this isn't a trap for me?
I have honor. I wouldn't lay traps for a friend. Would not do that.
if it was really a trap, we would have just helped those guys earlier instead of doing that. Also, how long has it been since we started talking?
I do not know. Why? Maybe 10 minutes.
Well, just making sure this little spell's gonna only last an hour. So,
Very well.
How does it work?
well, once he's touched, he can understand all of us.
Okay, so if he touches you again, he's probably doing the spell.
Well, I mean, I can only do it so many times a day. With I need a rest.
I'm just trying to warn him, just in case you touch him.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Very well. So, the giant looks around. I think I know of a good location to bring them. Outside of forest. We will go back south towards the town of Manavik. There is little area that I think will work without being too suspicious. Small pond where many creatures go to drink. It would be believable that I was captured there trying to get water.
Good idea.
You have rope on you now.
Yes, 50 feet of it.
Okay.
He's gonna cut. He's gonna cut a little bit of it so you can just literally pull yourself out of it. You can yank it apart if you want it.
Okay. Then allow me to show you this location. It is good 40 minutes from here. My son is not with me. I have him hiding in other location in case poachers were to follow us after the last battle. Which is why my son not here with us now. He will be all right. He slowly looks around. When do you want to do this?
As soon as possible. I want Bertio to stop this madness.
Very well. Then we go now. He takes his club in hand and slowly stands. Follow me. He begins to walk back south out of that small forest area. Do you follow?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
All right.
that's the homie.
As
That's the homie.
as they do, he's going to, while they can still talk, he's going to try to communicate like hand signals to where they can understand each other once the spell wears off.
Okay. So you give some hand signals. You guys talk about some potential hand signals.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So we'll say as you're walking, he's listening and looking down at you. An hour does pass eventually, but you've reached the point where he understands what hand signals to use and what to understand if you guys give him any key hand signals. And this is where we're going to end this episode of Taverns and Caverns, Path B. Thanks again, everyone, for listening to another episode of Taverns and Caverns. This is your Dungeon Master, Haphazard DM. You can find me on Twitter at HaphazardDM.
This is Robert Jones. I play Nomu the Monstrous.
You can find me on YouTube, Trubone, Trubone.
This is Rodimus. You can find me on Twitter at Rodimus7901 or at Blue Sky at Rodimus83.
All right. Those are our players for this season of Taverns and Caverns, Path B. And don't forget to check out the Taverns and Caverns Patreon for exclusive content that you won't want to miss. Until next time, guys, on Taverns and Caverns. Take care.